All right, chat. Without further ado, the kids who hacked the CIA. Let's get it. Let's go.
October 2015, a chilly day in autumn. John Brennan receives a weird phone call. It seems to be coming from a stranger.
John Brennan. That's like the most white
He
guy name
hesitates a
ever.
second, then picks up.
Hello?
John Brennan?
Who is this?
You're a f***ing loser.
If John Brennan
Can you imagine picking up a fucking phone call and he's just like, dude, you're a fucking loser. And you're like, what? Like, what did I do? Random ass number.
hadn't been John Brennan, this might have looked like an ordinary prank call. But John Brennan happens to be one of the most powerful men on Earth, the head of the CIA.
Who is this? How did you get this number?
It was so f***ing easy, bro. You're such a d***.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I already f***ing own you.
How much do you want?
Gosh, this would be
We want
scary.
$5 trillion.
The US government will classify this call as part of a larger conspiracy of identity theft, harassment of government officials, and cyber terrorism. The caller will pay a heavy price for this moment of trollish glory.
Why are you doing this?
We want you to stop bombing the Middle East.
Across the Atlantic, in a house in the West Midlands of England, a 15-year-old kid in his room, the phone still in his hand. He can't believe what he just did.
Why the fuck would you ever do that? Fun fact, I've never pranked called someone because I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me that like prank calling anyone would result in like jail time. And to this day, I don't know if she still believes that or if she was just saying that so I couldn't be a dumb kid and like prank call people. But I always believed it, and I never really found out that it, like, you don't get punished with the death penalty until my friends were telling me about their like prank call stories.
He calls himself Crackas, and he loves to smoke weed. In fact, he's high right now. He's also the leader of Crackas with Attitude. He and his companions terrorized an...
What the fuck is going on? We're like a minute and a half into the video, and I'm like, I'm lost. Like, Crackas with Attitude? I mean, this is like typical suspect, bro.
embarrassed the US security apparatus to a near incomparable degree. They leaked the personal data of police officers, FBI agents, and DOJ officials. They hand-delivered top-secret documents to Julian Assange. Some of the most publicized hacktivism attributed to Anonymous.
They call themselves Anonymous.
Yeah,
Hacktivism.
it was actually them. In part for the lulz. And this is their story.
This was political.
Teenager
Cyber attacks.
hijacked
Is
the
that
computers
Booga?
of several US intelligence and
Started a
security
collective called Crackers with Attitude.
What does that hacker group Anonymous even do? Does anyone actually know what their purpose is? Because like I've heard them doing like some hacks where it's like super ethical and they're like doing it for a good reason, but then like don't they also commit crimes though? Like what's the point? Someone let me know if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know what is the point of the Anonymous group and how do you like even join a group like that? Like do they just post their job offerings on Indeed like yo need a hacker like we got this crazy job coming up? How do you even get into that circle?
2008 in Virginia, a different kid who only calls himself Default. He's a pretty typical American teenager. He loves soccer, video games, and his dog. He often clashes with his father, who works in the government. At some point, Default starts cheating in his video games. This gives him the first taste of using computers to do things that you're not supposed to. Exciting, powerful things. He starts learning all that he can about how computers work and how to get them to bend to your will. 2008 was an exciting time to get into hacking. The decentralized hacktivist group Anonymous was in its heyday. If you managed to get into their secret chats, you got a front seat view of their actions.
Anonymous is one of the biggest online vigilante.
Question. This is like a moral or ethics or maybe, I don't know what kind of question it is. But when you guys have kids eventually, do you guys think you're going to give them like unlimited access to the internet? Like before they turn 18? Like, I think it's a rough question to answer. I think like 5-10 years ago, you would have been fine. And like, sure, there's like some cases out there where it's like, you're cooked. Like you shouldn't have done that. Dude, I think though, like when I imagine myself having kids like 15 years down the line, bro, the internet is probably going to be so crazily fucked up. I don't think I can trust myself with the internet. Like, I feel like you see it a lot of times, even nowadays, with a bunch of children who get online, and they're like, because dude, let's call it what it is. Being online, especially on TikTok nowadays, is just brain rot. And it's like these like political activists in the comment sections, like misinformation gets spread so fast. Like, dude, it's a literal nightmare for a parent. Like, if I was a parent right now, I probably wouldn't allow my kid to have TikTok until they're minimum freshman in high school. So what is that, 14, 15 years old? Anything before that, bro, I hate to be like that parent, but dude, I'm not letting you do it, bro.
Groups members hack into companies and governments.
Now a worldwide and widely recognized hacking group.
Hackers with the group Anonymous.
Citizens of the world. We have seen the erosion of due process.
A cyber war. Anonymous has struck again.
Young Default is fascinated. Anonymous embodies an exciting spirit of freedom through chaos. They showed how you could force the whole world to pay attention without you having to leave your bedroom. Some anonymous actions are political, some are just trolling, and Default, after tasting this very new kind of power, is keen to learn everything he can about hacking. He starts to hack random websites just for the challenge of it, just to see if he can. But after hanging around Anonymous's chats for a while, he starts to find the group, well, cringe. For one thing, it's crawling with feds. People are getting arrested.
Bro, imagine you're like in the fucking most like secluded hacking group in the world and you get called cringe. Genuine question, and this is gonna sound really stupid, I know. I have a lot of stupid questions. How does hacking even work? Riddle me that. Like, if I wanted to go in and hack Microsoft, which I wouldn't do in case the feds are watching, I would never do something like that. How do you hack something? Like, what does hacking even entail? Like, does hacking just mean like, okay, you're hacking it to get control of the website or to get some sort of sensitive information? Someone, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're in the chat right now, someone let me know, how does hacking work and like how do you even like begin doing it? Like, how do you get into hacking? Not that I want to get into hacking. Once again, I'm a good boy. I'm a good puppy. Like, how do you get into it though?
It's tough to know who to trust. Anonymous has become so big that vetting people becomes difficult. There's tons of infighting and doxing. Since it's the only hacktivist group most media outlets know about, Anonymous keeps getting credited for the work of other, often more sophisticated hackers. It's a mess.
They're like the Fall Guys.
So Default gets involved with offshoot hacker groups, one of them called AnonSec. The group positions itself as anti-anonymous. But similar to Anonymous, AnonSec performs operations, hacking initiatives that sometimes have a political purpose, and sometimes are just, as one might say in 2008, for the lols. I hated recording that. AnonSec is quite advanced and Default gets better and better at the game. The group controls a botnet. A botnet is essentially a large pack of infected computers under someone's control. You can use those computers to further spread malware across the internet to make the botnet larger and larger. Or
Genuine question, I'm sorry, I keep pausing. Has anyone ever been affected by malware? I know that like you learn it in computer classes. You're like, okay, don't click on any links. I have clicked on so many links that I felt I like clicked on. I was like, yep, there goes my computer. Like, I'm getting hacked. Has anyone actually ever been affected by malware or like any sort of virus? And like, how did you know that it was in your computer? Because like, I'm gonna be honest, my shit could be getting like cooked right now, and they have all my information, all my banking, everything. Like, how does that even happen? Hey, such cool with the $2. Oil up. All right, bet. Take your $2 back, brother man. I will refund you after the stream. All right, I'm just kidding. Thank you for $2 though, brother man. That'll go to a good cause.
You could, for example, attack a server with it in order to overload it. Default is tapping around AnonSec's botnet and gets curious about what computers they've actually gotten under their control. He finds that one is a server of the Canadian medical school, Windsor University. Suddenly, Default finds himself with direct access to the university's finances. He pulls up records of students who owe the school money. It all adds up to $9.4 million.
Damn.
And at the bottom of the list, something very tempting. A delete all button.
Why the fuck would that even be a thing? Why would that, dude? If you're gonna tell me right now that that's a thing on every single one of these like student loan processors, there's no way ethical hackers haven't gone in and just deleted that shit. I mean, I know there's probably like backups and saves everywhere nowadays. Like I'm sure they have like, you know, all that stuff taken care of. But dude, if I was an ethical hacker, this is the first thing I would do.
How could he not push it?
Did he push it?
These people might, you know, really enjoy having their slate wiped clean, as it were. If you look, some of them owe a substantial amount of money, you know, like 70,000. I think some people owed like upwards of like over 100,000. It's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like perpetual debt that sometimes it just lasts for decades. So, just deleted everything.
Is this his actual voice or is this AI?
Shell and just like send everything to dev null and just like shredded it. So whatever I sent there is just not coming back.
This is from the podcast Darknet Diaries. They have a fantastic episode with Default. Of course, this story poses some questions.
What? Can someone help me understand why some criminals are like so slow in the head? Why would you commit a crime and then go on like the Joe Rogan podcast and talk about it? Unless I got the wrong understanding of what they're talking about. Why would you do that and then go on a podcast and admit to all of it? Why?
We tried asking the university if the debt stayed deleted. They did not answer. But usually student loans have multiple on and offline and offsite backups.
Yeah,
there should be hard copies of the student's signed loan agreements. However, Default feels like he's really doing something at the time. There is a certain rush to committing a crime when it feels like doing the right thing.
What kind of crime even is that?
Other hackers might have used the sensitive student information to make a profit. There's actually a shadow industry worth billions surrounding our most sensitive data. So-called data brokers gather all the info available about us on the internet, your contact information, browsing history, and online transactions. This data is...
Yo, there's about 500 people watching across all the platforms right now. Bro, this shit could be happening to like 1/5 of us and we would never know until we just get absolutely plowed from the back. Like straight Johnny Sins style, like spreading the cheeks, tongue just like all up in there. And you just would never know, dude. You would never know.
Often bundled into shadow profiles, which are then being sold. You might receive a tailored mail or a robocall based on your shadow profile. In the worst case, someone might try to steal your identity. Incognito helps you remove your data from the numerous lists of data after/for TV. Your data might by trust hacks are motivated by altruism rather than just curiosity. As recently as 2014, bestiality was legal and
what? What? How did... Whoa. Let's take a few steps back. How did we go from hacking the CIA to bestiality? Those two don't draw a line. They don't connect whatsoever.
Denmark. Other European countries, Germany, the UK, Sweden, had recently banned it. What this meant for Denmark was an increase in animal sex tourism. For years, Danish animal rights activists tried to...
What? Bro, what? What the fuck is happening?
To bring attention to this.
They called them dog brothels. So sick. It's so crazy. And I had a dog, so that really pissed me off just thinking about the fact, what if someone took my dog and that happened to my dog? I would freak out.
So, as Default describes it, he and other Anon Sec hackers lend their technical skills to the animal rights movement.
So I think we took down the official Denmark government website, and then we actually defaced it, you know, and said, did you know that your government allows bestiality?
Oh, wait, that's low-key Aura. I thought we were losing the plot there for a second, but that is Aura. Bro, I would shit my pants. Imagine being a Denmark government leader or whoever's in charge of the website or just like an official or whatever, and you load up your website and it just says that shit. Bro, imagine being the first person to see that and you're just like, oh no, it's over. Like, you know, like you're getting fired for whatever your job is.
And there's bestiality dens where people can go and pay money to do these things to animals. And most of them are like people's pets.
They shut down bestiality websites via DDoS attacks and tweet evidence of sexually mistreated animals. The information reverberates around the world and is widely condemned. Anonymous gets credit for anon sex actions, which deeply annoys Default. But it works. In part due to the hacks, more people know about Danish dog brothels. They talk about them online, protest them, until the case winds up in Parliament. In April 2015, Denmark finally bans bestiality. While Default is leveling up as a hacker...
Why is it not just like universally illegal? Like, what even is the benefit with... Never. I don't even know why I tried to have that conversation with you guys. Knowing my audience, not a single serious answer is about to be put into the chat.
He also becomes an early adopter of crypto. He accumulates a significant amount of Bitcoin, more than 1,000. This would amount to a...
Oh, I think I just nutted. 1,000 Bitcoin early on. How much would that be worth now? I think Bitcoin's trading at like 72,000, around that. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Oh my God, that's what, $72 million? No. 72, or is that 720 million? I think it's either 72 million or 720 million.
A lot of money today. Somewhere around 40 million US dollars. He keeps these bitcoins on a hard drive.
Okay, well, that's at the old price.
He also knows
million,
he's
so
making
it's
powerful enemies, so he gets a bit paranoid, a bit fanatical with his OPSEC. He never logs into his own Wi-Fi, for one. He uses a satellite dish to log into a free Dairy Queen Wi-Fi half a mile away. He's always...
Shout out Dairy Queen, bro. I actually threw a Dairy Queen shout into one of my skits I made today. I actually might post it today because I think it's pretty funny. But shout out Dairy Queen, bro. Dairy Queen might be a top 5 restaurant of all time. If Dairy Queen had better food, like their ice cream, best ice cream to ever do it. Best ice cream place. I know we're getting really off track on the video here. Best ice cream place ever. If Dairy Queen had better food, dare I say, it might make an honest to God run for a top 1 restaurant to ever exist. Crucify me, bro. Crucify me. That's my take on Dairy Queen.
Is connecting through a Tor node. Every time he turns off his devices, he makes sure they're encrypted. When he turns them back on, he has to wait 30 minutes for them to decrypt. For the most part, he never tells anybody what he is doing. He knows he has a lot to lose. Ultimately, it won't be enough.
Damn, shit's about to get crazy.
Back in May 2013, a 29-year-old US intelligence contractor also has a lot to lose. He has his own home in Honolulu, a loving girlfriend, and a salary of over $200,000 per year.
And he's gonna throw it all away for a slice of cheese pizza and a trip to Disneyland. I mean, bro, this is like typical, dude. I swear, people just be throwing their lives away. It's like that joke where it's like Minecraft YouTubers, as soon as they become famous and they're making millions of dollars and they have all these followers and stuff like that, and they just throw that shit away at like the soonest chance they get.
But he's discovered a huge secret, and it's too big to keep. The US government has the ability to spy on pretty much any man, woman, child on Earth who has come into contact with a computer. And this contractor, unwittingly, has helped make that technology possible.
That is so crazy to think about.
He's haunted by this information and horrified that his government is violating its public civil rights so egregiously. He knows that revealing this information to anyone, a lawyer, a judge, or even Congress, would be committing felonies so severe that he would spend a lifetime in prison. He's worried he'll never see his family again, and he doesn't know what consequences they'll encounter if he blows the whistle. But he has to do it. He's been quietly collecting evidence of this secret for a while, and he's just downloaded the last documents.
This is a really fucked up scenario. I was gonna say, like, I would never blow the whistle on this because, like you said, like, if you says anything, it's a felony or whatever. What would you guys do if you were in this situation, like national security and the security or the public security of, or what was I trying to say? I don't know. The security of the public. What would you do, bro? What would you do? I'd be torn, bro. I would crack you in this situation, Carter. All right, bro. My chat's actually just never serious. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't blow the whistle because if I do, I'm getting put in jail and I'll never see my family again, and then I spend the rest of my life rotting. Because it's not like anyone, like, I know, I guess the government can see and spy and see all their information of the public and stuff like that, but it's like, I feel like half that stuff, it's stuff they already know, and it's stuff that we willingly give them. And it's like, nobody's in immediate danger with that, so, I don't know.
He tells his employer, the US government, that he needs a couple of weeks off to manage his epilepsy. This buys him a bit of time to leave the country without arousing suspicion.
Whoa.
He chooses Hong Kong because he views it as a bastion of free speech. He believes it's one of the few places in the world that could and would protect him from the wrath of the US government.
If you called off sick for a few weeks to battle epilepsy and you booked a flight to Hong Kong, I'm pretty sure that would raise a few red flags. I don't want to be the one to say it, but if I was at home sick away from work and my boss found out I flew to fucking Hong Kong, he'd be like, what? Like, I don't know.
There he meets journalists Laura Poitras and Glenn Greenwald and delivers evidence of what used to be waved off as a conspiracy theory. And so Edward Snowden becomes one of the most important whistleblowers of our modern time. Snowden's revelations scandalize the world and spark a long overdue debate about individual privacy versus national security. He inspires many young Americans like Default to take a good hard look at how their government functions. Default doesn't want to sit around and let surveillance happen to him. He wants high-ranking intelligence officials to know what it feels like to be spied upon, to have their private information stored and distributed, and to have it used against them. This is when he teams up with the Crackas with Attitude, founded by Cracka, the kid who's always high.
Interesting, bro. Interesting.
Leicestershire,
Shit's about to get
England,
real.
2015. In a housing estate on the outskirts of a sleepy former mining town.
Yo, England or wherever the fuck this is, the UK always just looks so miserable. Like, anything on the right side of the pond over there just looks like doom, death, and despair, bro. And not to mention, England's got that fuck-ass meal, the beans on toast shit. I've talked about it like 3 times. If I ever woke up and my mom tried to serve me beans on toast, oh my god, I'd probably break the plate. Like, who really is out here eating beans on toast, bro? Who? If you are, you're an NPC.
There's not a lot to do except get high or go online. In the case of 15-year-old Cracka, he spends his time doing both. He's angry about corruption, about surveillance, but in particular about the US's involvement in the Middle East. He becomes especially focused on Palestine and sees the US as directly responsible for death and suffering in Gaza. He decides to do something about it.
This was political. We heard he was really angry about US foreign policy. So he started a collective called Crackers with Attitude, and then he hacked into
the most unserious name
online.
One of his first victims is James Clapper, then the National Director of Intelligence of the Obama administration. Clapper, one of the highest-ranking members of the intelligence community, had his phone number and address waiting to be found with just one Google search. This provides Cracka with enough information to hack into his email. He posts proof of it on Twitter, which catches Default's attention.
How do you... Okay, someone just like riddle me this. How do you hack into an email? Actually, I'm cutting that out of the YouTube video. We're not talking about it. Alright, yep. Alright, bro. God damn it. If I was a government official, bro, like, there has to be some sort of government mandate where they're like, okay, you have to have, like, quadruple security on your account. Like, that has to be a thing. That has to be, like, in the job description, dude. I don't know.
Crackas then gets the phone calls to Clapper's house phone rerouted to the Free Palestine movement. Default tweets his respect to Crackas, and the two start chatting. Edward Snowden himself has given James Clapper a very special shout-out in an interview with the German broadcaster ARD. Unfortunately, that interview was blocked from US and German television networks. Apparently, the video is immediately taken down every time it's posted on YouTube, so we'll only show the quotes visually.
I would say sort of the breaking point is seeing the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, directly lie under oath to Congress.
What we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans, or for that matter, spy indiscriminately on the citizens of any country. We only spy for valid foreign intelligence purposes as authorized by law, with multiple layers of oversight to ensure we don't abuse our authorities.
Crackas and Default are livid. Crackas and other hackers loosely connected with CWA team up to target more high-ranking members of the intelligence community. They want to embarrass them and to show them that they aren't as powerful as they think they are. At the top of their list,
I'm going to say right now, I feel like, and I don't mean this in like a bootlicking sort of way, I think being a government official, especially nowadays, has to be one of the hardest jobs, bro. Because, like, you're just getting dicked on 24/7. Even if you're, like, a good politician, which I don't know a lick about politics. I don't know anything about anything. I don't know anything about wars. I'm like the least knowledgeable person. I just make TikToks, bro. But, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad for them because it's like every decision they're making is like being just eyeballed. And it's like, I don't know. But obviously there are like plenty of bad politicians from what I understand and what I've seen. Like there are some boneheaded decisions that politicians make, not only in the US, but like other countries. I think right now, everyone in office needs to be nuked. I think, whoa. I take it back, CIA, FBI, if you're watching. I did not mean that. Do not bring me to court on that. I think they should be removed from office kindly and sweetly. With loving, compassionate care. We need to put them all in the retirement home. They should not be in there right now. Like, I was really thinking about it the other day. Once again, I'm not going to dive into politics. I just want to talk about how the fact that our president is, 84 years old? That's crazy. 84, even if he's like 81, 82, I don't know what age he is. Let's just say he's 81. Give him the benefit of the doubt. 81 years old. That's older than my grandmother. And it's like, how is someone that's 81 years old running our country? Like, you know how there's like age limits on like flight operators and flight pilots and all. There's a bunch of age limits. Like flight pilots have to retire, I believe, at age like 65 because cognitive decline gets to be too much where they can't be trusted flying planes. Same thing with the flight operators, like in the flight towers. They have to retire at like 56 or 57 because the cognitive decline, like they can't make those split second decisions that like matter when they're doing their job. The fact that our president could, love or hate Donald Trump, I don't know. I personally not the biggest fan, but you know what? I don't know. Anyways, but like 81 years old. I don't care if it's Trump, Obama, Clinton, Biden, George Bush, fucking Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. I don't give a damn who it is. 81 years old is crazy. Crazy.
Is John Brennan,
that was a long
head
tangent.
of the CIA.
Everyone in office is just so old.
Brennan, like Clapper, has enough information online that he basically doxes himself. Crackas looks up his publicly posted phone number and finds out it's a Verizon number. He calls up Verizon's internal tech support and pretends to be an on-site technician who's having trouble helping a customer on site. Tech support asks Crackas for his employee code, and he just makes one up on the spot. It works.
Stop! Are you kidding me? Dude, that is a 1 in 100 snipe. An employee code, I bet you it's like 5+ numbers, maybe 4. I mean, I guess there's a lot of employees, but like, God, you're just sniping that shit. And it's like a 50-50 shot if it's a boy or a girl, too.
Nation provides Crackas with access, and suddenly he has the account number, the PIN, and John Brennan's private email address. If you have just enough information on someone, pieced together from different sources, say their address and last 4 digits of their social security number, you can easily change the passwords on all kinds of accounts and take it over. And that's exactly what Crackas does with Brennan's AOL account.
Imagine like doing this in real time. Like
once he's in
you're
the
just
email
hacking a
account,
government
Crackas
official,
gets
that's
Brennan's
crazy.
private cell number and shares it with Default. And so they start spam calling the director of the CIA, relentlessly calling him and his family.
I told him he was a piece of shit. Basically, like, y'all are awful people. Like, really. Like, you're not doing any
Okay, so now we're back to the beginning of the video
world.
here where he gets the
You're just
phone call
not.
through.
John Brennan is freaked out. Sure, the calls are little more than a prank, but how could he know that? At the time, nobody knew who was behind the calls, or what their intentions were. Brennan has to lay low for a while in hiding, with extra security details for himself and his family. At the same time, Crackas' breach into Brennan's email gives him access to sensitive documents. Crackas first posts screenshots on Twitter, but then, egged on by Default, and maybe asking himself, what would Snowden do? He decides to hit up WikiLeaks. Julian Assange himself takes interest. He publishes the documents in October 2015. They include...
Bro, this is crazy. This is a 15-year-old doing this. Like imagine like going to school with this kid. Like, hey Timmy, what'd you do yesterday? Oh, I played on the playground and I played a little bit of Fortnite. Yo, Johnny, what'd you do? Yeah, I hacked into a government official's email account and released sensitive documents that could or could not put the entire country in jeopardy. Like, this is crazy for a 15-year-old dude.
Include Brennan's 47-page SF-86 application, a sensitive form required for obtaining top-secret government security clearance. The form reveals his criminal history, psychological records, past drug abuse, and other details nobody would want about themselves online. Not only that, from Brennan's emails, WikiLeaks publishes Bush-era recommendations for how the presidency should operate in the Middle East. There's also an internal congressional correspondence from the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that offered suggestions on how to make future interrogation methods, also known as torture, compliant and legal.
Real quick question. This has nothing to do with the... Okay, I guess it has something to do with the video. If you guys were like... I don't know where, like, when you'd find yourself in this situation, but if you were getting tortured, what method would you prefer? What method of torture would you prefer? Like, I mean, what are the methods? Let me look it up. What are all the methods of torture that we actively use? I know, like, waterboarding. What are the methods of torture the USA currently uses? Let's see here. Okay. Through numerous, we have exposed the profound, blah, 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 including waterboarding, sleep deprivation, indefinite detention, solitary confinement, and force feeding. Ooh, wow, that's a stacked list. Listen, I was going to say waterboarding, but I've heard that waterboarding is very, very torturous. Like, you think it's easy until you're actually doing it. Sleep deprivation, that shit makes you go insane. I think it's like if you spend more than 2 days awake, you start like hallucinating and seeing things. I do not like that. I've had like sleep paralysis before. Dude, it's bad. Like, I will wake up in like a dead sweat sometimes. Dude, miss me with that bullshit. I mean, I feel like indefinite detention is everyone's obvious pick, so I'm actually going to say fuck you guys, and we're actually going to disclude that from the list. Because that one's like too easy. Like, it's pretty much just being in jail. So between waterboarding, sleep deprivation, solitary confinement, and force feeding, which one would you rather have? I'm going to say, listen, sleep deprivation and solitary confinement are going to make you go insane. Like, you're literally going to be insane. I feel like force feeding is probably the best one. I don't know. Because I low-key like food. Like, what are they force feeding me? Like, are they going to force feed me, like, cake and ice cream? Or is it going to be, like, some fuck-ass beans on toast, bro? I don't know. I'm probably going to go with force feeding, though. No, fuck it. I'm actually going to go with waterboarding. Okay, let's get back to the video. I'm yapping. The
breach cost the agency $1.5 million in damages and relocation costs. as several operatives went into hiding before they knew that there was basically no threat level. Above all, it was widely embarrassing. Hacking into Brennan's email was laughably easy.
If this is true, and it's true that you guys have actually broken into his private email account, how difficult would you say it is?
You mean out of 10?
Sure, out of 10.
1.
1.
It's a lot of, I guess, private information, really. He's pretty stupid, really. He's supposed to be so high in the government, like head of CIA, and he should be more.
Can you give us any indication of your background? I mean, how old you are? Are you in the United States? I mean, anything you can tell me about yourself?
Yeah, I'm below the age of 20 years old.
Why would you? Yo, this guy is actually a fucking watermelon. Why would you ever do that, bro? Like, that's like the oldest trick in the book. The interviewer's like, can you give us anything about yourself? Like, that's how they get the information. Like, the CIA couldn't get to him, FBI, nope, nobody. But the hot reporter gets to him. He's like, so, can you tell me how old you are? And he actually fucking says it. Actual loaf of bread.
I smoke pot, and I live in America.
And you smoke pot?
Oh, you threw him off with the American line. All right.
We wonder what John Brennan must have thought, while undoubtedly watching this in his relocation house. What fury must have built up inside him. The CWA aren't done. They release more and more information. With control over Clapper's and other operatives' accounts, it's even easier to get people to give up information to in turn access further accounts and databases. They gain access to FBI's Deputy Director Mark Giuliano's account. There, they discover a database with personal information of 9,000 Department of Justice officials and 20,000 FBI agents.
Oh my God, you're cooked. Oh, you're fucked. 29,000, or what was it? Was it 31,000? It was 29 or 31,000. Damn. That's fucked. You guys are cooked.
They post it. They then get access to the Justice Department's Joint Automated Booking System, which has records on all U.S. prisoners. They check out the records of fellow hackers like Jeremy Hammond and post those online as well. They wreak havoc and embarrass one institution after another. Did these kids really think that they were going to get away with it?
At the time, I really didn't care. I just that was towards the end of the run. It was just like, all bets are off. You know, I'd gone all the way down the rabbit hole. I just become very disillusioned with people's complacency and their lack of care for what was going on. So it's like, we're going to bring attention to this with like chaos and mayhem.
So is this considered ethical hacking, guys? If you're like... Is this considered ethical hacking, bro? If you're like releasing like sensitive information? I don't know. Because like he's doing it because like of corruption and whatever. Or he's mad about the government and like causing issues. I don't know. Somebody let me know.
Crackas knows his actions have poked a very big bear. He knows there will be consequences. He just doesn't know what they'll exactly be.
I'm going to go to Russia and deal with Snowden. Because I know that the government are pretty mad about this. I'm probably going to get tortured. I'm actually a pretty fast runner.
Default is paranoid the whole time, constantly worried about his OPSEC. But he let his guard down.
I would be too. Are you kidding me?
Default became involved with an ex-girlfriend of one of his friends. According to him, he asked his friend in advance if it's okay with him. The friend says, sure, go for it. He's way over it.
He got double-crossed by the homie,
Default
bro.
and his friend are hanging out one night, drinking and chatting over Xbox Live.
I slip up for the first time ever, being arrogant and cocky. It comes on the news, CIA director hacked, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that was us, blah, blah. I was like drunk, talking, and just totally like gave myself away.
He never thought his friend...
Damn. He's about to get double-crossed by the homie. What a snake story, dude. What a snake story. Kid could have grown up to be like Mission Impossible level hacker, but got sold by the homie.
Would do anything with that information. Hell, he didn't even think his friend would necessarily believe him. But today, Default is pretty sure this friend turned him in.
Oh, so he doesn't know.
When the FBI raids you, they don't knock politely.
Is that a star?
FBI agents enter Default's room just as his computer finishes decrypting. They are pointing assault rifles in his face.
Mora. So he's cooked. Yo, but like, I know he probably thinks his friend ratted him out, but it's like, do you really think, okay, let's just play this scenario out, right? You're the friend, like you're taking your girl, right? Or you're taking your homie's girl. He says he's okay with it, whatever. Do you think the homie ratted him out because of that? But it's like, if you just like happened to say like, oh yeah, bro, like I hacked these government officials or whatever, like there's no way he's gonna call the police and be like, yo, like, oh my gosh, this guy did it. Like you have no evidence you did that. Like there's no way he's just going out on a limb and like reporting that to the police.
They drag him out of his room, flash copy his hard drive before it re-encrypts, and seize all of his equipment. Default knows he's finished, but the worst part,
you're cooked.
Watching the agents carry off his hard drive. The hard drive with nearly 1,000 Bitcoin. He blacks out.
Damn, 1,000 Bitcoin too, it's over.
Crackas, too, gets raided by the British police forces, and his computers are confiscated. One other CWA member gets arrested in the US, and 3 more in the UK. Since Crackas was underage and in the United Kingdom, he got a lenient sentence. He spent 2 years in a juvenile detention center. He was the first minor in the UK to be imprisoned for hacking. Today, he's keeping his head down and is done with crime. He just wants to make a career in cybersecurity and move on with his life. He did not want to give us an interview. Default, even though he was less involved, paid a much higher price. He went straight to federal prison with a 5-year sentence. He had to pay $145,000 in restitution, and due to COVID regulations, spent a significant...
I feel like, number one, the other guy like got out quickly, which is crazy to me. Number two, I feel like 5 years in prison for releasing government official information like that and causing that mayhem is really not that bad. Like, I would expect that to be like a minimum of like 10 years. And like a
amount of
crazy
that time
fine.
in solitary confinement. While pleading in court, he said, I thought what I was doing was right in terms of political justice. But 2 years later, I realized I was completely wrong.
So
Snowden, too, didn't have a relaxed time fighting asylum in Russia. Shortly after his leak, intelligence officials publicly fantasized about killing him. Whether you're a principled whistleblower who truly understands the significance of what you're leaking, or a stoned teen furious at the world's injustices, messing with the US government will change the course of your life forever. So make sure it's worth it. In December 2023, the Biden administration renewed a very controversial surveillance program. The act allows the administration to spy on anyone in the world without warrant, including its own citizens. It includes a vast database of electronic communications.
Wait, what? This just got reenacted? Or renewed? Bro, this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. It's like, how do we never hear about this stuff? Like, I can literally just be getting spied on through this camera right now by the government, and I would never know. It's crazy to me how they can even do that. Like, not even like in like a legally / ethical way. It's crazy to me that they can just do it like because they want or they can. Like, they can just somehow get it. Like, how does that even happen? How do you just get into my computer and just start watching me through a camera? I don't even know.
Communications. It's supposed to be accessed only when there's a legitimate reason to believe it will assist intelligence operations. But a U.S. court ruling in 2023 found that the FBI has already misused this database 278,000 times.
278,000 times, bro? That's like 277,000 more than 1,000.
Unlawful searches were particularly rampant between 2016 and 2020. They've snooped in the private communications of donors to various congressional candidates. They've been watching suspected January 6 rioters, and they've also been surveilling Black Lives Matter protesters. Maybe they're even surveilling us.
Dun dun dun. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like on it, as well as subscribe to the channel. I'm really trying to grow my long form content over here. So if you guys have any feedback for me or any advice, make sure you leave it in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys can watch another one of my long form videos right up here. I'll leave all of these up here. And if you guys haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure you guys hit that right up here. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning into the video today, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.